to Good Game. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo.
Well, here we are, Bajo, the very last episode of Good Game for 2015.
Yes, and a full 1 hour episode to tide you over into the silly season.
We'll be reviewing two of the last big releases of the year, starting with the multiplayer-focused Rainbow Six Siege.
Uh-oh. Whoa, whoa! Oh, that goes... Whoa! Oh, gosh. This is intense.
And a king amongst action games, Just Cause 3.
Virtual reality is going to be one of the big gaming trends of 2016, finally. Tonight, Goose takes us on a heart-pumping VR experience that didn't bring up his lunch.
Jolin, go!
Bajo, you and I will share our reflections on the gaming year that was.
Yes, of course. And we'll hand out the Good Game Award for Game of the Year. What's it going to be, Hex?
I think I can still hear the office arguing, but anyway, before we get to all that, can you name the game for this week?
Some say under every rainbow is a pot of gold, but the only gold you'll find under these rainbows are spent bullet casings. This is Rainbow Six Siege.
This group is well-funded and has access to military-grade ordnance.
Deploying drone. I love that I can just watch you guys look on your phones.
Hang on, I'm just texting.
This group is highly trained.
Guys, I need backup.
Sorry, I was still
Well,
in my...
you wouldn't need backup if you didn't run in first.
Well, you guys were taking ages.
I had to finish texting.
They are fanatical and have no concern for their own personal safety.
He has the diffuser thingies.
Oh no, he got me.
I got you, Bajo.
This guy on the stairs. Go.
Yeah, good one.
Are we holding hands? That's what's happening.
I'm gonna crawl to you.
C4. Got him.
I'm dying.
Yes, Team Rainbow is back, and this time they've joined the ever-growing ranks of high-profile multiplayer-focused games.
We actually took a lengthy look at this during the beta earlier this year and were super impressed with it. And we were a little worried that it might not come out in time for us to review this year.
Yes, but we managed to get our hands on it just in time. So the big question is, did the final release live up to expectations?
It absolutely does.
He's coming in!
Whoa, they're coming in from somewhere else.
To the right, Hex.
This is one of the most exciting multiplayer games I have ever played. Between the constant tension, deep tactics, and glorious destruction, it offers up some of the best team-based multiplayer strategy out there.
Breaching in 3.
It's not a countdown.
That destruction definitely sets it apart, doesn't it?
Oh, shit.
Things like what is and isn't destructible and how long things take to destroy have all been really well thought out.
Yeah, and clearly we've seen destruction in games before, but this destruction feels more surgical, more tactical. In a hardcore shooter like this, where it takes a mere second or two to die, knowing that most walls provide as much cover as a sheet of paper means you never truly feel safe.
Oh, the wall's gone. I'm leaving the building.
It's high-stakes stuff.
Yeah, but let's quickly break down what's on offer here. So, to start with, there are a set of 10 situations which act as an extended tutorial and run you through the gamut of modes on offer, from extracting hostages, defusing bombs, defending areas, and so on.
Reinforce the area. Hostiles regrouping.
And these are mostly played solo. There's no real story to them, so don't go thinking that this has a campaign. Although we were promised Angela Bassett, and all we got were a few bits of voiceover.
You have operational clearance to eliminate a high-value target on American soil.
But these situations are fun, and they'll earn you a healthy amount of renown, which is what this game calls XP.
And you'll need a fair chunk to spend on unlocking the operators, as well as on customizing each of their weapons. There's a set of operators for each of the country's various special forces, with ones designed for either attack or defense roles.
And they each have their own perk, which can dramatically change how your team deal with any specific situation. Who was your favourite operator, Hex?
Well, I didn't get to try them all, but I really liked Pulse for defense.
Deploying heartbeat sensor.
He can detect heartbeats through walls, which is super handy for foiling an imminent breach. How about you, Bajo?
Well, I still love Twitch for that taser drone. It's just so good for zapping people out of cover. Zap, zap. But I also grew fond of Fuse. This guy can plant a cluster grenade into a wall and shoot them through to the other side.
Oh, there's one dude down.
Yeah.
And it never fails to scare the heck out of the other team.
Yeah, yours is pretty good at taking out the hostage with it.
All right, guys. Guys, I got this. I got this. On my go.
Pretty easy.
Go. Mission accomplished.
Oh, you killed her!
Oh no, the replay! Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah, I need to work on that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the community develops specific strategies for this game, though, and also working out which operators work well with each other.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that rewards good teamwork. How do you think this kind of game will fare when you're playing in groups with match-made randoms, though?
It's definitely more fun when you're playing with friends and you're all communicating well. It's kind of like you're role-playing.
Yeah.
But I think the objective is always so clear that even if you are just in a team of lone wolves, you all still know what needs to be done. And sometimes having everyone just run off and do their own thing can be great because it's a confusing tactic for the enemy.
Go, get him.
From
Oh, I think I hit him.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, fair enough. I did love the flow of each match. It's such a unique experience.
I see someone.
The way it always starts off and all the little drones spread out to recon,
Oh,
or you hunker down and set up your defenses.
what are you doing?
You told me to
Wait,
barricade the doors. I'm barricading the doors.
Yeah, we're on the wrong side now.
Are we?
And then that little delay. As you move into position or wait for the breach to happen, it always sets you right on edge. Then all hell breaks loose for a few seconds, and then it's all over and the next round starts.
Got one.
Oh, it's tagged, so now you know where he is. Or was.
There's another one. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, he's going for it. I'm going for it too.
Back him up! Oh, no!
Your team has dropped the diffuser.
Oh no, he got me.
Well, it's up to you, Hex. Get those sights up. Oh!
There he is. There he is.
Yeah, it's such a rush. It's a roller coaster of emotion. And I like how short each match is too. 3 minutes goes by really fast. I found that often if we were the attacking side, we'd be caught out being just a bit too cautious and realize we only had a few seconds left to actually attack. This has such thought out design. It really encourages you to make a plan and stick to it. You can't mess about.
And outside of the PvP, there's also the awesome co-op mode Terrorist Hunt. Here, you and your team will have to tackle all the various situations from clearing out buildings to defending hostages.
Oh, behind you, Badger! Watch out! Oh, leave them alone.
You can play these solo, but once again, they're better with a full team and you crank that difficulty up to realistic. The AI is smart and relentless, so you do need to pull together as a team if you want to have any chance of making it through. And there's such great map variety too, so many situations that I want to play through.
Well, we should wrap this up. What are you giving it?
This is the new Counter-Strike for me, Hex. I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
I'm giving it 4.
So we have to find another hostage.
Yeah,
so.
cool. I'm just gonna try and ride these bikes.
And let's just hit the highway, guys.
I think they know we're here.
I can't get on it.
Let's
I
just
can't
burn-
get on it.
Let's just burn some rubber.
Guys.
Well, it's time now to start counting down to the good game of the year for 2015. And when it comes time to choosing the best game of the year, it's always a difficult process.
That's why this year we've decided to make it a completely scientific process. This is the Joyotron 3000, a machine finely tuned to analyze a game's strengths and weaknesses, to probe every quantum scenario and see every possible outcome in order to correctly select the best game of 2015.
But before we process the first batch of Game of the Year contenders, we'd like to show you the Technical Achievement Awards we handed out earlier. Right, Bajo, back to finding our Game of the Year. Let's start with the ones that excelled in storytelling.
Indeed, Hex, there were so many games this year which played with narrative in really inventive ways.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder.
There was Her Story, with its database searching mechanic uncovering video clips to piece together a murder mystery.
Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs?
And Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Another game that painted its narrative with careful dabs, allowing us to explore and discover it in our own way.
The valley, Stephen, everything was simply irrelevant. An idea of something, not a something itself.
A fantastic story.
Let's also add the Beginner's Guide.
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Davey Reardon's elaborate ruse that pulled apart the process of making games with us on the inside. That game had such an impact on me, Hex.
Me too. But then there was Undertale. A game that subverted the usual RPG tropes to create a surprisingly intimate tale that made us question our role as a monster-vanquishing hero.
I also think that Batman Arkham Knight told a story in a really unique way.
Looks like the machine's giving us a spoiler warning, Bajo.
Alright, well I won't say exactly why, but the way the game world around you changed due to Batman's fragile mental state, that was so effective.
All very worthy contenders, Bajo, but of course there are many more games that are deserving of the ultimate crown.
Yeah, so we'll need to feed those into the machine as well, so it can crunch that data with science and tell us which game will be Game of the Year at the end of the show. We'll be back with more soon.
Merry Christmas, good game, from the 260 hardworking men and women of Treyarch.
2015, what a year for games. So many games, so many big games, so many games unfinished. When I look back on this year, I'm reminded of the PS3 360 Wii generation of 2011. Do you remember 2011? What a year. Skyrim, Dark Souls, Witcher 2, Portal 2, Battlefield 3, LA Noire, The Old Republic, Uncharted 3, Arkham City. Oh, that was a year. And 2015 was nearly as good. It's a sad state of affairs when you can't play Fallout 4 because you have too many other amazing games to play.
Go on, get in the ring. All right, put him up.
The last few weeks I've managed to squeeze in just a little bit of extra time with it, and it's just reinforced how detailed the game is and how it's full of so many unexpected little things.
One, fight!
And it's the little things that matter in this big game. Like how if you throw a kennel near your house, your dog will actually sleep there.
I think I have something already.
Well, all right.
Or how, if you restart the game, you might notice you'll be sent on slightly different quests from some NPCs.
And who better to open their eyes to the wonders of the Bard than Rex Goodman?
Or maybe have an important encounter in a completely different location.
So go find milk of human kindness with Strong.
And these holidays, I think many of my adult friends will be doing things like renovating their house or building that deck or finally putting up those shelves. I know I'm going to be renovating my virtual house and putting a giant penis on top of it.
Yikes.
That is in between a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, which, as you heard earlier, is kind of my new Counter-Strike. Speaking of Counter-Strike, it had an important update this year to its visuals and hitboxes, and for some reason, I spent about 3 months playing it every day. I just could not stop.
I'm gonna distract a B and then I'll meet you wherever you go.
Okay. Yeah, he's pushing doors. Yeah, he saw you.
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, you wrecked him.
And I kept buying skins, spending real money on it. I don't know why, but I loved it. What a waste of money. I think I was just craving that intensely competitive experience again. Plus, it's great practice for trash talk.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You're bad. You're bad.
Get
You're
out.
bad.
You're
You're bad.
terrible.
You're bad. You're
Get
bad.
out. Where are you? Get out.
What are you trying to say?
Looking back further on 2015, I like to spare a thought for Project Cars and just how incredible that weather looked. The way those storms rolled in, and that rain, and those puddles and reflections. This developer loves graphics, and you all probably know I am partial to a bit of graphics. Oh, those textures. And I'm excited for the sequel, which they announced about the same time as they released the first game for some silly reason.
This guy behind me. Go around. Go around. Go around. Big Batman fin in the middle. That's awesome.
Project Cars is one of those games where you'll look at it and go, wow, I did not think games could look this good. And then later on, you'll look at another game and think, wow, this looks really good. I did not think games could look this good again. And then later on, you won't believe yourself again because you'll be like, hey, this game looks really good. I did not think they could look this good. I also think of Arkham Knight. What a game. I'm still not willing to spoil this for anyone who hasn't played it because it's got one of the most interesting stories in a video game that I have ever played.
The master of understatement as ever.
Just go play it. It's phenomenal, and it might even be working on PC by now.
Will he ever learn?
Looking ahead to next year, I can't actually find the words to describe how excited I am for Dark Souls 3. a feeling. If I could articulate it with maybe a sound, it would be... Yeah. But we did have Bloodborne this year to fill the gap in between Souls games, and it was an interesting take on that Souls-ish formula. And if it ever comes out on PC, which is highly unlikely, perhaps then I'll find the courage to go back and finish it.
Good. Good. I've been waiting for one of your ilk.
I don't think I'm ready to go back yet. I want more resolutions. 1K, 2K, 3K, maybe even 4K. Not 5K. I want those refresh rates. 100 Hz, 120 Hz, 144 Hz. Speaking of refresh rates, they've been refreshing this year faster than ever before. And along with frame syncing technology, 2015 has shown that choosing the right monitor is just as important as choosing the right graphics card. You know, us here at GG play a lot of video games online, but out of all of those people that we meet in that virtual world, there was one in particular this year that was very special to many of us.
Hello there, little flute player.
Do you like my tune?
I like it so much. Let us dance together.
He was skinny.
Follow me, friend.
I will follow you wherever you take me.
He was creepy.
Here is where we praise the sun. Come with me.
Where are we going?
Here is your new home.
In this cage?
He was King Bowl of Reign of Kings.
The dwarf is first.
No.
No.
No, run, dwarf.
Praise Bowl.
Tell people of our adventures. Be brave. I will speak of you with all who I meet. No!
Goodbye!
This game was my LOL of the year. I've never laughed so hard doing so many bad things.
No, button! Let's go! No! Oh, no! No! Ah, there's a spear in my bum! The goose says to be bad. There's a spear in my bum! No!
What are you doing to him?
Goose, 3 spears is too much! Alright, there you go. You still got the
Oh
mission.
no, they're stuck in his bum.
And King Bowl and his minions and all the other people we met on these servers really encouraged us to roleplay for the first time.
I'm a poor little orphan.
Do you want me to give you a sweet release of death?
No.
And we loved doing it in this crazy world-building medieval online survival game.
Clean my feet.
He speaks to us like he knows us.
And you, post my sword.
You would like a sword? Is that what you say?
You have offended your last night.
Oh, if only the servers didn't wipe so frequently, because that was what stopped us playing. It's DayZ meets Minecraft meets LARPing, and oh, the times we had roaming this kingdom with a rock in our orifice slot.
Is this your bow in the thing, Steph?
Yeah, that's mine, sorry.
Speaking of butts, 2015 was a good year for poo. You could make your horse poop in Metal Gear Solid 5. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth had an excellent poop-based boss. There was even some dog residue in Undertale. But the game that really took feces into the next generation was Ark Survival Evolved. Because not only could you collect dinosaur poop in this game, but you could poop yourself by pressing a button, and then your friends could eat it.
We're so quickly becoming civilized. Was that like a cheerful thanks, buddy? You just pooped in front of me. It is the size of your head. I'm gonna pick it up.
Pick it up and save it.
Okay. And now, eat it. You ate raw or rotted food. Your health is decreasing.
Don't eat my poo! I said I'll eat your poo.
Let's do it together.
What an age we live in. I'm super excited about 2016, not only for the amazing games on the horizon, but also it will be my 10th year here at the ABC. And I don't know if you know this, but after 10 years, they give you a lock of Kerry O'Brien's hair. What's that? Kerry's leaving the ABC. So what do I get? Box set of Vicar of Dibley on VHS. It's not bad, actually. And now it's time to process some more Game of the Year candidates. And for this one, Hex, why don't we look at games which wowed us with visual design?
All right, ready to enter some data, guys? An obvious first contender for me is Rise of the Tomb Raider.
close to something, Jonah. I can feel it.
The lighting, the animation of Lara, the palpable atmosphere. And that hair, Bajo.
A stunning game and a good pick. For me, Star Wars Battlefront was a no-brainer. The Frostbite engine has never looked so suitably epic. With such a convincing level of detail and respect for the source material, it really brings the Star Wars universe to life with a bang.
It does look incredible, but you know, another game that deserves an artistic nod is Ori and the Blind Forest. This beautiful, understated game was so lush with gorgeous colours and fluid animation. It all looked so graceful. Okay, Bajo, what else?
Well, I was just thinking about the cinematic quality of Until Dawn. It had a real movie-like feel to it, thanks to clever framing and camera angles, and some truly great facial animations that briefly escaped the uncanny valley.
Damn. Oh gosh, you look terrible.
It was a visual treat.
Okay, but how about Project Cars?
Yes.
This was one of those jaw-droppingly good-looking races, and it elevated the game to a seriously impressive level of realism.
Agreed, Hex, and let's not forget Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Kojima Productions' Fox engine sure knows how to dazzle. And it doesn't hurt when you've got an auteur like Hideo Kojima directing the action. Yes, it was weird, but in a good way.
A very strong collection of games with impressive visual design, Bajo, and even more crucial data for the Joyatron here to help determine our Game of the Year for 2015.
Should it be making that buzzing noise? Hang on, I got this. Hey!
Merry Christmas, good game from myself, Kevin Franklin at 343 Industries. Hope to see you online.
Virtual reality. We've all been excited about it, but it's yet to prove it can live up to the hype, other than the promise of motion sickness. But a team of Aussie devs are trying something new, kitting out a 400 square metre warehouse in Melbourne and combining current VR tech with full body movement.
Well, the idea came at the end of 2012 after the Oculus Rift Kickstarter came out, by building out a large tracking system that would allow you to not just sit at your desktop but step into a game and control it with your entire body. It was a really lofty goal. We had a piece of wood with a phone strapped to it and the tracking, and put just a car reversing monitor. And it was really cool. It was like this is going to have legs. We actually built it before we'd even used a Rift, which was a big leap of faith at the time. And we just iterated over and over again, small, and then built it up to what you see today.
We first started with just a single player, which was quite easy, and that's where you can do that with essentially sort of consumer-grade equipment. But as we got past sort of 2 and 3 players, it becomes dramatically more complicated.
I guess we're trying to find something that appeals, that's got mass appeal at the moment, and is kind of something that's easily accessible. Like a zombie shooter is a really easy, accessible concept.
What sort of reactions have you seen from people playing this?
It's always been really exciting and people have always enjoyed it. I think it's impossible to explain to people what it's like until they get in it.
Well, you're wearing a backpack, which is essentially just a portable computer. It's battery operated, communicates wirelessly. So it's going to be talking to your headset and headphones, which gives you a view of the virtual world so you can hear and see everything. And then you're carrying a wireless gun as well, which communicating wirelessly, being tracked out in our virtual space. And yeah, that's what creates this virtual world.
Oh, wow. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, fine, you?
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool. I'm not scared at all.
Floating gun.
We go? Yeah, let's do it. On your right. Oh! I got this. We're good. Okay, there was one behind.
We have 128 cameras, essentially, hooked up in our warehouse. They are watching you everywhere you're moving, so they put you into the virtual world. We can create any content we want from there. So we have zombies, other players, we have the walls and environments, anything we want, really.
Oh, I see you. I see you. Sneaky zombie.
We were all mad gamers. We're pretty busy now, so we play more of our own games. Scott and Keel had done some online kind of modding of Counter-Strike maps initially, and so there is a bit of that background. But it's almost not a game. It's a game development problem, but it's not a classic game design. It's almost like you're building a theme park ride is what we've kind of come to, because you've got, all right, how do we get people in? How do we get them out? How do we keep them safe? How do we entertain them? It's essentially making a system that is controlling groups of people in a way they don't feel like they're being controlled. Because if you just put them in, we used to put people in a blind alley and just throw zombies at them, which was great for like YouTube viral videos, but it's too much. People running, people screaming, people trying to hide under virtual tables, rolling around on the ground, all sorts of sort of strange behaviour.
We have, there's a bridge component in the game where you have to try and cross this small, thin bridge, which we put in there.
Oh no.
And that probably elicits the most strongest reaction, which always looks humorous for everyone else because they're actually just standing in a warehouse.
Oh. Oh!
We manage that now by having a full-time game master that has what we call the voice of God. Like when they press V and talk, everything stops, and the only thing you can hear is this voice.
Come on!
To your right, guys.
Oh, thanks.
So they can effectively change the difficulty if they need to. They can fix any problems that occur, things like that.
They're in the office over there. You take the other door.
Whoa. It's also about structuring the game in a way that you don't have a long road terminating into a wall, so people are moving around in a safe way.
Lynn! I missed you!
It's a big part of the system's design was creating these large and sort of expansive environments, but we only have a small space to walk around in. So what we do is when you walk from one end of the warehouse essentially to the other, you reach these markers in the game, and by standing on the markers, we relocate you in the virtual world to a different location, so to spin you around 180 degrees, and that allows you to walk back through that same space in the warehouse, but actually cover a new virtual space instead. We can make people travel quite far as a result. The average game that people play at the moment, they'll travel anywhere from about sort of 700 meters to about 1 kilometer in 45 minutes, so they cover quite a bit of ground.
Boom, behind you. Go, Lynn, go!
Congratulations, guys, you survived the zombie apocalypse.
Yay! Whew, so that was surviving a virtual apocalypse, and I think the first thing you notice when you're in an experience like this is actually having a physical space to move around. You don't have that nausea that a lot of people feel. Another thing to note is just how exhausting it is. I think we take for granted in games that we're just holding a controller and our character is doing all of the work. Whereas here, you are physically holding a weapon and you are moving around quite actively, that by the end of it, you get really tired, and that actually adds to it as well. On top of all of that, it's terrifying. Okay. Unlike playing on a couch where you've got the barrier of a screen, here, it's right up in your face, and it does make for a very, very intense experience. He's quite quick for a guy with an unhealthy BMI.
We want to be rolling out like many of these globally, so you can have people competing in different sites, making larger sites, linking them together, allowing people who are outside the simulation to participate. Because we're only really scratching the surface of what the level of presence and immersion that we offer is capable of.
And obviously, the graphics and rendering every year is going to keep getting better. And as VR headsets are going to get better, we're going to have to keep pushing that sort of hardware boundary.
It sort of feels to me like that. It's almost like a birth of cinema moment. It's a completely new medium and no one knows what to expect, and they see it and they walk away completely gobsmacked.
Welcome back to Good Games Game of the Year with Science.
We're ready to input more finalists into the Joytron 3000, and Bajo, I thought we could now consider games with the most compelling world design.
Good idea, Hex. You know, I'm a big fan of open worlds. Why don't we start with Fallout 4? The wasteland of the Commonwealth was a fascinating landscape, littered with so much mystery, eerie secrets to uncover, standoff to survive.
You stop waving that gun in my face, or it's gonna involve me.
That's it. You're dead.
And so many quests. And plunges to collect. So many Hex.
Well, if you're repping Fallout 4, then of course I'm adding The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The breadth of the landscape, the intertwining quest lines, the story embedded into every location, and all those characters going about their lives. What a world. Ah, take me to the Northern Kingdoms, Bajo, and just leave me there.
Well, as far as fantasy landscapes go, I think we should give a shout out to Reign of Kings. This little indie game had an open world that fostered so many memorable gaming moments.
I cannot move you with my puny arms.
Not like this.
There is only one course of action.
This is futile.
This is... Oh!
All hail King Bold! It was a very simple world, but the game's crafting system and house building, its monarch mechanic, the harsh medieval landscape, it just made us want to spend more and more time in this world.
Another surprise this year was just how cohesive and well put together Assassin's Creed Syndicate turned out to be. Its industrial era London was a remarkable place to explore, with wily gangs to scrap with, children to rescue,
It's nice to meet you both at last.
famous landmarks to climb, and relatively bug-free this time.
I know we already nominated Metal Gear Solid 5 for artistic vision, but I think we also have to acknowledge its open-world stealth play. Fultoning out vehicles, sneaking around enemy camps, flying over the land and sea in your chopper. It was wonderful to be playing a Metal Gear game in a true open world for the first time.
All right, we can add it, but as long as the machine doesn't count that one twice.
Hex, I can't wait to see which game the Joyotron 3000 decides is the best of the lot. I love science.
I love science too, Bajo. We'll be back soon with more of the year's best.
Every gaming year, our digital adventures are filled with joy and heartbreak, victory and loss.
Characters we've come to love or perhaps despise, who fall in the heat of battle or due to questionable choices of our own.
So let's take a minute to honour those who bit the digital bullet in 2015.
And I won't beat around the bush. There are massive spoilers in this bit.
Oh yeah, huge.
This is Good Games in Memoriam for 2015. You know, we're both on internet shows, so I'd say the real death this year was television.
From this point on, the simulation deviates from actual events. Not that it's gonna feel any less real.
My turn, big guy.
I am human. Save for a human ending.
You're gonna shoot me? Like me?
I'm really sorry.
Bloody hell. Where's your shirt, you handsome sod?
I'm taking us home. We'll be safe. We'll all be safe.
They're all here. Everyone you asked for help.
My life for ire.
Well, I'm thrilled to be able to sit here and say, what a year for games. Especially since this time last year, I remember feeling like we were stuck in limbo a little bit, on the precipice of awesome with those new consoles, but not quite there yet. But then we stumbled into 2015, and The Witcher 3 came out.
Hold on tight.
Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. There were a lot of great games this year, and you know I'm going to leave the greatest game of all time until the very end. We'll come back for you, Geralt. Let's start with the little guys, the puzzle adventure games that may not be advertised on the sides of buses. But it's often these games that turn a good year of games into a great one, because they generally offer the most unique experiences. I had a wonderful time in the new King's Quest, which breathed life into an old classic in the most wonderful way. What breathtaking art! And Lara Croft Go was the first smartphone game in years that saw me choosing my phone over all other consoles until I finished every last puzzle. Another game I'd like to mention is Soma, brought to us by the same minds that created Amnesia.
Whoa! What's going on? I think this place is about to collapse.
As we delved deep below the surface of the ocean and tried to piece together the events of the past, we found ourselves questioning human consciousness, what happens to us after we die, all while nervously glancing over our shoulder in fear of the monsters that lurked around every corner. It was great sci-fi and compelling storytelling.
I really wish I was able to say this without the sky falling down.
For me, one of the most exciting aspects of gaming right now is the ability to involve us in new and innovative forms of storytelling. No other medium can do this, actually involve us interactively in the unfolding narrative.
Your lot up at Valis have never mixed with the local community. People here, they don't really understand what you do up there.
And this really was the year of the interactive story, I think. We participated in interesting relationships in the mock instant messenger game Emily is Away, and followed the online romance of two people in an MMO in Sibel.
So, how about that picture?
But the narrative technique that really blew my mind was the one explored in Her Story. In this game, we were asked to sift through archival footage from a murder case from the 90s. This involved the joy of clicking around an outdated system and watching a number of full-motion video clips.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
The catch? A glitch in the system meant the only way to find these videos was by trying out random keywords. The more videos you watched, the more keywords you'd be able to try to find out more. It was such an interesting and exciting way to involve us in a mystery. I was madly scribbling down words on paper, just trying to make sense of it all. Brilliant.
And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
Speaking of mystery, things took a more classic teen horror turn as we screamed and quick-timed our way through Until Dawn. Employing the likeness of known actors like Hayden Panettiere, this was another game that focused much more on storytelling than action. Most of the player involvement was around making choices within the narrative as these impressively rendered scenes played out.
There's freedom in this revelation. Everything you do, every decision you make from now on will open doors to the future.
Despite knowingly drawing upon every single horror cliche in the book, it was thrilling to know that your decisions had real impact, which has been a difficult task to achieve in video games up to this point. This was one of the most impressive branching stories we've seen, with loads of variations on the eventual outcome.
Please don't come this way.
Another game that explored choice consequence through the butterfly effect motif this year was Life is Strange. Here, though, decisions were less finite, as you had a rewind ability that allowed you to go back in time and pick a different option. Although it was rarely clear which decision was the right one to make, making the moral dilemmas we faced truly agonizing.
You and you're all dead!
But isn't that what makes this element of interactivity so interesting? How we justify our decisions to each other and to ourselves. And regardless of how you felt about the ending, this game just continues to circle around in my mind.
You are magic! I have no clue how the hell you got in there, but you did it, sister.
All right, let's get to the big ones. One of my most anticipated games this year was The Order 1886, which was sadly underwhelming. A classic case of style over substance. But can we just admire the style for a bit anyway?
With me.
Honestly, when anyone mentions this game, I just go all misty-eyed, remembering all of that beautiful soft light and detailed skin textures. Not only did it look stunning, but the cutscenes were a joy to watch because the performances were wonderful too.
Everything to your liking thus far?
Quite. Just another ordinary London morning.
Indeed.
If only it had the gameplay to back it up. Also worth mentioning is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I may be tiring of the Assassin's Creed formula, but there's no denying that this is one of the most impressive releases Ubisoft has ever unleashed on the world. I mean, the benefit of releasing so many games in this franchise is they're basically building on and perfecting their formula with each release. The increase in more dynamic action as we darted across the Thames or got into punch-ups on trains turned Victorian-era London into our playground. Rise of the Tomb Raider was my silver medal. A magnificent sequel, the kind of game you pick up and just don't stop playing until you're through. Which, okay, wasn't quite possible since this game was bigger and better and longer than the first. But there is something so magnificent in the way this game balances open exploration with cinematic action sequences that has it constantly sitting in that gamer bliss point. And I just love the way Lara is evolving as a hero. This is it. What a woman.
You don't know how far I've come.
Okay, we're there. We all know I could talk twice as long as I already have about this game alone, but I'll try and spare you.
Do you wish to say more?
No. Let's begin.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt felt to me like the product of every fantasy fiction landscape I have ever daydreamed about. I almost cried, it was so perfect. Classic in many ways, and yet wild and exciting and original too. Wet and murky swamps, stunning forests and snow-capped mountaintops. Each quest so beautifully written it was like pulling at a thread that would unravel a whole complex story in each one. And characters that battled and romanced their way through this epic tale so wonderfully, I just never wanted it to end. And with nearly 200 hours of content in the main game, it almost didn't. And then it did. Yay for DLC!
Show us what you got.
Hot damn, boy. You needn't ask me twice.
Now I finally have an answer to that question. If you had to take one game with you to a desert island and play for the rest of your life, what would it be? It would be this one. 1,000 times this one. 2015 was a great year because it brought me The Witcher 3.
Merry Christmas, good game. From myself and everyone at Crystal Dynamics, have a great holiday season, and I hope to see you raiding some tombs.
Welcome back to our Game of the Year experiment, where we try to determine the best game of 2015. All right, Bajo, it's time to feed some more names to the computer, and this time I think we should really hone in on the games that have that spark of gameplay magic.
Why don't we call it Fun Factor? And of course, we have to start with Rocket League. Who would have thought cars mixed with soccer could produce such an irresistible multiplayer hit? It typifies the sort of game that demands just one more go, tapping straight into that dopamine center of the brain.
Another game with instant appeal was Splatoon. This was something really fresh from Nintendo, a riotous multiplayer experience bursting with glossy style. And what great support Ninty has shown this title with regular content updates to keep those fun times flowing.
Goose will not stop talking about it.
Yeah, he loves that game.
Yeah. Another game which exudes fun is Just Cause 3. As you'll discover later in our review, the grapple-tastic gunplay, along with the game's plethora of fun mechanics, make it a frenzied joy to play. So many cows to jettison, Hex.
Now, a game that might not get the heart racing, but still has that je ne sais quoi to make it compelling, is Cities Skylines. Filling that city-building void that the much-maligned SimCity left behind, Skylines let us construct to our heart's content to produce some stunning metropolises. Metropoli? So much fun.
Hex, I think we should add one more. Super Mario Maker. It might be more of a creation tool than a game per se, but there's already so much great user-created content to play, and challenging yourself to build the best Mario level ever is something that borders on obsession.
Well, that's a really interesting selection of fun games, Bajo, but I think we should stop entering names into the Joyatron 3000 because I think I smell smoke.
Oh, no, that's just my new aftershave, Eau de Bacon. It's not great. We'll return soon to process all of the results and announce the winner of the Good Game Game of the Year award for 2015.
No, it's smoke. I think it's on fire.
The Red Barrel, the explosive companion of goons. Each day they give their lives so that we may live. And for the Red Barrel, Just Cause 3 is genocide.
Hey, it's Rico!
I'm the trouble starter. Pumpkin, it's the game. I'm the fear addicted. Danger illustrated. I'm a fire starter. Twisted fire starter.
I saw you coming in on the plane, and you were like...
I'm the one infected. Twist, animated. I'm a fire starter. You're a fire starter.
Bajo, I forgot how wonderfully chaotic Just Cause was.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this because Just Cause 2 is still one of my favorite open world games just for the freedom it gives you to cause mayhem.
Yeah, it basically gave you a license for fun.
Wish me luck. I never needed it before.
And 3 is no different.
Rico! It's been so long!
Rico Rodriguez has returned to his hometown of Medici, which is now run by the dictator General Di Ravello.
You learned a thing or two since I left.
Yeah, you're not too bad yourself, huh?
It's a familiar setup. There's a dictator that's hell-bent on power and control and will do anything to keep that power, even if it means burning his own cities down.
Perhaps some motivation. The town of Costa del Porto. Ban it!
Luckily, Rico's main profession is dictator removal, and you're very quickly thrown into that task with reckless abandon.
The last game's hook was the physics-defying grapple and how you could use it to get around and hook two objects together for shenanigans. Well, it's had an upgrade because now you can not only tether objects together, but you can make that tether retract. This opens up a whole range of new gameplay options that feed organically into the action.
Thank you for everything you do.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's so much fun, and it becomes second nature quickly. You might want to use it for upending cars or helicopters in pursuit. Or against enemies on foot. Or you might just want to do this. Getting about with the grapple's great, isn't it?
Yeah, although it does take some time to get used to the general controls, especially now that you also have a wingsuit.
Best if you start near precipice.
It lets you glide any way you like, and combined with the grapple and parachute, you really do have full movement around your environment. You can go anywhere, there aren't any rules to slow you down.
Yes, although those wingsuit landings can be a bit tricky.
Once you do get good at combining your wingsuit, grapple, and parachute, though, you can get some incredibly fluid motion going on. All, of course, while blowing up everything.
The rebellion have liberated the town of Solyara. The rebellion marches on.
Oh my, there is a lot to blow up.
Yeah, in fact, I would rename this genre and explode 'em up.
I love how enemies fly from vehicles hilariously while on fire. The destruction's really exciting and sophisticated. Next, I feel like I'm still underusing the grapple in combat, and I can't wait to see what uses other players come up with.
The grapple can be upgraded too, along with heaps of other stuff. Every single vehicle, including boats, can pump the NOS now.
Oh, careful of the mines, Rico. They got a hair trigger.
I'll be careful.
To unlock upgrades, you need to complete challenges to get gears. I found this to be a bit of a tedious system, didn't you think?
I don't know, the challenges are pretty quick and painless, and it's not like you need to get 5 out of 5 gears for every single one of them to unlock a bunch of stuff.
I was a little frustrated that story progression relied so heavy on liberating settlements so I could have access to these challenges. This world is just so massive. After a while, I wanted to punch through the story at my own pace.
I think that's a valid point, but I don't know, after a while something magic happened with this game and I kind of just clicked into the rhythm of it. It's cathartic going into all of these bases, completing the various objectives you need to make it liberated, and then watching your AI buddies roll in to protect it.
The shooting is solid and there's a good variety of weapons. Plus, I love how cars are pretty much bombs for you to incorporate into your base attacks.
And there's so many vehicles in this game. I especially loved the sports cars.
Yeah, the cars look great, don't they? And the little scooters.
Yeah, and they handle so well, which is a huge improvement from the last game.
Some of the AI is a little questionable, though. But otherwise, it looks and plays great.
Yes, we're playing on the PC version, so we haven't tried the console one yet. We did notice some slow down and stuttering in the more hectic moments, which is a little hard to see in this footage we're showing you, but we have been told that video card drivers are still being optimized. So that's something to keep in mind. It is a pretty game, isn't it, Hex?
Yeah, the islands are colourful too, with flower-covered fields. And there's plenty of detail and thought-out structure to the world, which makes navigating your way through it by car or by air a delight. I just wish the story was a little bit more interesting, Bajo, just a little. The humour just didn't really strike the right tone for me, and the voice acting and storylines were pretty uninspired.
No, I am not your bro.
And before you say it, I know this game isn't really about that, it's about blowing stuff up and having a good time, but I'd still like to be somewhat invested.
It's not about that.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Well, I think they have tried hard to make some of these characters more interesting this time around, but yeah, I was skipping cutscenes pretty quickly.
You're killing my buzz.
All in all, this is very similar in tone and feel to the last game, but there's just so many added mechanics and technical improvements that I think it's absolutely worth playing. I'm giving it 4 stars.
If you're willing to work hard for it, this game will satisfy. I'm giving it 3 stars.
Okay, all right. We're all having a good laugh. Ah!
Well, Merry Christmas, good game. Ho, 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 and a Happy New Year from me, Jim Norris, and Freestyle Games.
It is now time to award the Good Game Game of the Year for 2015. Throughout the show, we've recapped all of the contenders and fed them into the Joyatron 3000 for processing.
That's right, a purely scientific way of determining which game this year was the best of them all. Now, are you ready to throw the switch, Bajo?
I'm ready to find out who the winner is, Hex, with science!
To the computer! Lab Assistant Rad, find us an answer. What's happening?
Something's going on! It's probed too deep!
All the outcomes are matching!
Reality is splitting!
And so the best game for 2015 is, of course, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, with its vast, sprawling landscapes loaded with
mystery and adventure. The post-apocalyptic Commonwealth of Fallout 4 was the perfect backdrop to this year's most memorable moments.
Thumping that elusive ball into the back of the net with the bumper of your car was a sensational feeling, making Rocket League the game that would stand the test of time.
The rich atmosphere of those superbly designed ancient tombs, ripe for the looting, with Lara at her adventuring best.
Compelling us to explore this quaint English village for further clues into the mystery behind this apparent rapture.
All came together to make the return of Big Boss a gut-wrenching end to the Metal Gear saga, and that's why it is our game of the year.
Fallout 4 is our game of 2000.
Rocket League
Rise
is
of
our
the
game.
Tomb Raider
Metal Gear
is
Solid
our
5
fun.
is our game.
Rocket League, everybody's gone to the rapture, is our game of the year. Well, the Joytrons had a complete meltdown, so now we're never going to know which of those games was the true best game of 2000.
Answer was impossible to process this year. What a cop-out for the machine.
Yeah, it's almost like it couldn't decide because it was really, really hard.
But in fairness, how can you decide between something like the arcade magic of Rocket League and something as vast in scope as Fallout 4?
Yeah, or the richness of The Witcher 3 compared to the weirdness of Metal Gear Solid 5.
It feels like there hasn't been a year like this for a long time, where opinions on the year's best are polarized on a selection of games that just don't suit comparison.
What are you hoping for? A knight in shining armor?
Close enough.
There were games with unique strengths, each playing their tune to an ever more discerning and diverse audience.
In 2015, it just didn't feel as though you could say one game alone was the champion of all others. To do so would be almost arbitrary. They're all great games, and they're all special to someone, somewhere. Yes, it was impossible to pick a game of the year this year, but, you know, we all know what it really was.
Yes, The Witcher 3.
It was Fallout 4.
It was always going to be The Witcher 3. From the beginning of the year, I said to you, look, why don't you tell us what your game of the year was using the hashtag GGTV? Maybe it was The Witcher 3.
Yes, and did you name the game for this week? It was Laura's Happy Adventures, an adventure game for PC and Game Boy Color based on Playmobil's Victorian dollhouse line. In it, you helped Laura do good deeds for all the people she loves in her life.
Okay then, pleasing people around me. Now where shall I start?
What a lovely Christmas message. And it's named the game because it was the first game by Ubisoft Montreal, the same team behind this week's Rainbow Six Siege.
Well, Bajo, that's it for another year. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched the show or come out to see us at one of our many live events. It's a pleasure getting to know the passionate gaming community that surrounds all the shows we make.
Litten, rogue priest or mage, you could use spells or just get your badge on.
Darren, you're in the full fight!
Hi there, Goose.
Hi guys. Now, game of the year, I've got it sorted. It's Rocket League.
Oh, Goose, we've moved on.
A big thank you to everyone here at the ABC who helps us put the show together each week.
Yes, and Good Game will be back on ABC2 in February, and with a couple of big exciting changes in store.
Yes, but until then, Nick Boy and the Good Game Pocket Crew will keep you company on iView and YouTube.
This is more action than was in all of the Star Wars movies. Oh, but look at the hair bounce! As a fan and owner of excellent hair, I could admire that.
Goose, what games are you looking forward to in 2016?
Oh, XCOM 2, a new Zelda?
Hex?
Uncharted 4, of course. Oh, and the new Mirror's Edge.
Yeah, I'm pumped for The Division and, of course, Dark Souls 3.
Oh, guys, No Man's Sky.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Well, let's hope there's one game that is clearly superior to all of the rest, so we don't have to have this Game of the Year headache again.
Yes. So true. Well, we'll see you next year, everyone. Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Goose out.
Bajo out.
Splatoon. Splatoon, that's clearly it.
Game of the Year. When they announced Fallout 4 this year at E3, my stomach just started to churn.
I remember
I was like,
you were sort of anxious about it.
Yeah, people are going to make this Game of the Year, but we all know that it's The Witcher 3, and I think people realise that now.
You know what? No one picked Shower with My Dad's Simulator 2015. That was a truly special game.
And with good reason.
The true winner.
That's another year done.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Now it's time for the rap party.
For the rap party.
Rap party.
Always a pleasure, Hex. Always a pleasure. It was Fallout 4.